Alright, so this is going to be a video. We're going to be rebuilding rear caliper brakes on a 94 through 2004, maybe 2015 or 16, either V6, GT, or Cobra. Now, some of the tools that you'll probably need, or not probably, but will, some are optional. 10 millimeter socket wrench, C-clamp, some channel locks, little pick for the gaskets on the internals, caliper, tool from Amazon. Basically, it pushes the caliper back. You can use one of these with a ratchet. This is optional. I had this laying around, but you're definitely going to need one of these. This is a long reach snap ring. I think the teeth are maybe 2 inches. Amazon, took me 2 days to get. $11, $12. I'm not sure. I forgot how much it cost, but it was under $15. This is the from O'Reilly's, part number 41149 for the rear caliper rebuild kit. So you'll see, I'll kind of point these out where they go. This one goes on the piston, this goes in the cylinder wall, this goes on the lever mechanism, and this goes on the shaft of the piston. So let me guys, if y'all can bear with me, I'm going to try to do a decent video. I recorded it once, however, it's kind of difficult because I have to use both hands and hold the cell phone at the same time. So what I did, I went to a junkyard, bought a 90, I think this is 96. They're all the same. The only thing that makes a difference on the GT and Cobra is that the bracket that holds the caliper. Let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. So this one here, this is from a Cobra. Kind of gives a little notch wider for the rotor, which is a lot thicker. This piece here is missing on the GTs and the V6, so that's what makes the difference. Otherwise, the calipers are all the same. So to kind of get started, all I did was remove this bolt here. It's a 10 millimeter, and took the channel locks and kind of, I'm sorry, it goes in this notch here, but all I did was twist it and it came right out. So putting that aside, all right, let me pause this for just a second and kind of show you the internals now. Oh, so one other thing before I do that. Once you take that spring off, if you cycle this, if you cycle it all the way in, out, you'll start seeing the piston move out, and it pushes itself out. A lot of people try to turn them and use pliers and whatnot, and they just completely destroy the piston. So just cycle it as many times as you can. It'll stretch the gasket that's holding the piston in, and give it a little twist and pull it out. It's kind of suction in there, so let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, you'll see one of the gaskets, just kind of pull on it, it comes right out. That's one of the gaskets that you'll be replacing. Just kind of take some brake cleaner and maybe a toothbrush and clean all that out if it's corroded or dirty or whatnot. Now the other thing, a lot of people, I kind of did some research online, and a lot of the forums and some of the forums talk about how difficult it is, but these were back in 2006, 2008. I've had my coupe since 2000, and it's a 93. So I did the Cobra swap 10-15 years ago, and I haven't rebuilt them, and I'm gonna end up sandblasting these and painting them yellow with the silver bracket. Thought about powder coating them, but I just don't feel like spending the money for it, even though they gives it a better durability. So with that being said, we've used the channel locks. You may be able to use a lot larger one. I didn't need it. Now here, I'm going to show you. You can use these. These are, I had these laying around. They're optional, but for the most part, or all of the rebuild process, you're going to need these. So this is my reasoning for going to the junkyard and buying a used caliper. You can actually buy new rebuilt calipers, but one, I wanted to save the money, and two, I wanted to see how the internal mechanism works and all that good stuff. So I actually took the bracket, the pistons out already, and this is why I'm showing you. So as you can see, you'll see the C-clip right there, the two notches, and what you do is you'll grab them. Let me see here. Like I said, guys, bear with me. It's kind of difficult to hold the phone and do all that good stuff, trying to record. And alright, so I got a hold of it. Try not to block the light. Squeeze, comes right out. You can see that. A lot of people have wondered, why won't this come out? Well, there's a little O-ring in there that kind of suctions it in there. Just take your channel locks. Sorry guys. And just pull it straight out. Here, let me put this on pause. Alright, so once you take your channel locks, you just kind of pry it up and they slip right out. And there's that little O-ring, which on the rebuild kit, it's right there. Let me point to it right there. Okay, so again, my reasoning for going to the junkyard and get is because I needed this bolt here that goes in the piston, and I'll tell you why. Now I'm going to put this back together so I don't lose any of the parts. Now a lot of people use channel locks, and I'll tell you why I don't want to use that. Let me pause this and set up the channel locks. I'm sorry, the C-clamp. Alright guys, so here's the C-clamp. I actually used a vise, and I went to Harbor Freight, got a 6-inch C-clamp. Now the problem with this is that the internal mechanism, as you can see there, the C-clamp kind of wobbles back and forth, and once you compress this down, it's fine. I mean, you can release the internal mechanism with the snap ring, but it's kind of difficult, and I'll show you here why you need these again. So if you look in, I don't know, let me see if I can put some light in here. So you have a C-clamp, I'm sorry, a snap ring in there as well. And so what you're going to end up doing, you're going to take the snap ring, go in there, snap it, and remove it. That will release everything else. Now once you're done, the C-clamp does a perfect job, but to reassemble it, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to slide it back in, and you're going to tighten it. And what happens is this little swivel here, it starts moving back and forth, And one thing you don't want to do is have it move back and forth and it's kind of lopsided once you start cranking down on it, because you want to compress the spring. I'll show you the spring here in just a minute. You Once you compress that spring, there's some teeth on that. You have a spring and then a cover for it, and that cover has a few teeth on it, and once you bend them, yeah, you can take it back out and kind of straighten them out. But if you do it several times, you're liable to break them, and you might as well go to the junkyard and get you another one, because you're pretty much toast on it. So I'm going to remove this here and I'll show you what I'm talking about on those teeth. Okay, so here we go. Took the C-clamp out, took the snap ring, took it out, and so this whole thing pops out. It's kind of suctioned in there as well because it has an O-ring. If you just wiggle it, it'll pop right out. And so what you'll have, there's a little piece missing in there, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So let me get my magnet, little magnet, and this is what that goes right in there. And I'll show you how to put it back together once it's assembled. Now, like I said, the C-clamp, it's not the problem. Is when you take, here's the snap ring. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. There's your spring, and then so you have, I don't know if you can see that little notch there, that nipple that's sticking out. You'll have, if you look at the 6 o'clock, that little notch there, right at the 6 o'clock, there's a little notch, and that's where this one lines up. Right here, where my thumb is. So you just stick it back in there and it'll line up, fall into the groove. Now, with that being said, let me show you what I did. Here's what I'm talking about. Once you start using that C-clamp, once you start compressing this, these teeth here, sorry guys, these teeth, if it's lopsided, you're gonna start bending them. You can straighten them out with a crescent wrench or whatnot, but if you keep doing it and straighten them out, you're liable to break them. So with that being said, the reason why I went to the junkyard and I got the same 96 caliper and took the internals out from the piston. So this is the internals from the piston. Let me see here. Let me take, where's my snap ring pliers? All right, so once you remove the piston, right there, all right, let me get this out. Hold on for a second, guys. All right, so you've taken the snap ring out, get your little channel locks and kind of wiggle it. And again, it's kind of difficult. You pull it out. And the reason why it's kind of difficult, because this O-ring that's attached to it, it makes a suction. So with that being said, took that out, and this is what screws, it kind of goes this way. Okay, that goes in there, and then your piston rides on here. Okay, so what I did is I took a lot. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. A lot of guys use a 7/16. I don't know if you could see it. 7/16 1/2" socket. Now, the reason why they do that is once they, if you could see here, it works. It'll fall right into the groove. However, you have to drill out the inside of it, the center part, so this shaft can go right through there, right here. I didn't want to spread this. If it opens it up, a lot of people say it works perfect. However, yeah, it probably does. But what I did is I took this bolt and took an 11/16 1/2" and drilled the inside, and it fits perfect. Now, once I do that, it sits perfect. Okay, so again, this is from the piston that I took out from the junkyard. Okay, did my 11/16 1/2" socket, ran it in there, and this is what I did. I kind of took a grinder and squared it off so that I can use a crescent wrench and crank down on it, and I'll show you here in just a minute. That's for reassembly. Super easy. You don't have to worry about the swivel moving back and forth and kind of, you know, it not seating right. You know, I'll show you here in just a second what I'm talking about. But the disassembly is pretty easy. Put all your O-rings, your gaskets and whatnot, and let me show you how I reassembled it. Okay guys, so here's the reassembly. Again, don't forget that little piece of metal. Remember that notch at the 6 o'clock. Make sure it's at 6 and kind of set it in there, and you'll kind of, sorry for all the movement, I'm trying to walk and chew gum at the same time, but you'll see it kind of sits in there and it's tight. Make sure this lever, there's a notch in that lever that ends up it falls into. Now remember how the C clamp sat on here and it would wiggle, and that is not going to work for me. So if you look at that, just set it on there. Tight. Okay, now this is the one that I grinded down. This is from the piston. It actually goes this way up, and then everything else, put the snap ring in. And so if you really look at it, once you set it down and you compress this and put your snap ring in, piston goes in there. Of course, you're going to move your rubber seal all the way down, put it inside the notch, and then once it sits there, kind of sit it on there, push down and twist, and then it'll start screwing on. You can use this to screw it on. I'm not there yet because I'm going to end up sandblasting and painting these. So you kind of do that, compress it. Okay. Take the crescent wrench. Yeah. Tighten it. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so you're going to take your snap ring. You're actually going to put it in there. It's kind of difficult to film. Slide it in there. Now what I did, you can take a coat hanger, or this is a little filler rod from a welding. Once you're told you the quality video, I'm kind of moving around too much, but once you set the snap ring in there, it's gonna go in, it's gonna go in like this. All right, so it needs to be kind of level. Kind of go to the back and just push it down all the way. You'll hear it snap into place. And then take your well, they're on there, but once it snaps into place, you can take this your snap pliers out and take this out. So that's my homemade tool. Put your let me show you. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to push the seal all the way down, set it in there, kind of push it in all the way around, make sure it's sitting right, and once it sits in there, kind of twist it. Oh, sorry. And you can feel it grab, and then just use that tool and keep twisting it around, and it's gonna sink down and sit right. And that's it. I mean, with my homemade tool, it practically took me 2 minutes to reassemble. And of course, you want to put your spring back on there. It should be on there. But needless to say, this is the homemade tool. 11/16 1/2-inch socket. Kind of grinded the roundness. Where did it go? Yeah, so you see that's where I got it from. So let me pull that out.